pride be the reason that you lose. Don't let pride be the reason that you lose.
What's up, y'all? This is the Plain Black Rapper Podcast, and I'm your host, Nytelife. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all the support and all of the feedback that I've gotten. People are really starting to dig the content, man, and I'm starting to ramp up viewers. So I really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like and subscribe this channel at YouTube. Mitchell Media Review, YouTube, and add, subscribe, comment, download, love, appreciate, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Not kidding. Thank y'all for joining me for episode 61. This one is called The Projectionist. The reason why I call it The Projectionist, because I think this is a kind of a widespread problem that people have. And I think, you know, this is one of those steeped in society and steeped in real life. Again, one of the qualifications of this podcast is that I always talk about something that reflects myself, that other people can identify or relate to. And this one is no different. In regards to projectionists, you have moments where you project your expectations on others. And what I mean by that is sometimes we get into situations where we're dealing with people and we expect them to act the same way that we do. We expect them to have the same code and operate on the same morals and principles that we do. And then when they don't, we become disappointed or we question it. And that's not really fair, because we cannot expect everybody to act the same way, because they just don't. You know, everybody's a mystery box at this point when it comes to certain shit, unless people that you rock with from day one. Those are the ones that you can that you can rely on to be those people. And even sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, maybe they might, you know, operate outside the realm of what you expected, because they're going through things or going through changes. And you have to be able to allow and adapt to those situations. My circle that I built around me is my friend structure is basically their acquaintances. There are people that I know that I speak to, you know, every now and then, that are cool, that I respect, and that are, you know, good to vibe with. My brothers, me having no biological brothers, to bestow you as my brother means a lot. I don't have any biological brothers. I have two older sisters. God bless and love them to death. So the role that my brothers play in my life is very important, because they're the ones that ground me and that help me to be responsible in situations when I need to seek counsel. And it's important to have those people around you. And there's certain codes and stuff that you can't break. So they can rely on me to be in these modes and situations. When I have you as my brother, then I also accept everything around you as family. Everybody around you is family. Your mother's my mother. Your father's my father. Your wife is my sister. Built-in core principles. Your children are my nieces and my nephews. Period. You can ask anybody that I consider my brother, will tell you the exact same thing. You can ask their wives. I call them all sis. The reason why is to be able to make sure that I build in that code to know that when you are in my presence, you will be protected, as if I have to step up in those situations to protect you, I will. I'm not going to allow nobody to disrespect my sisters. I'm not going to allow anybody to disrespect my brothers. And I'm not going to allow anybody to disrespect my nieces and nephews, or their mom or their dads. That's just the way that I was brought up. I was brought up in that culture. For my dad and my mom through parties. And my dad, he has biological brothers, he has step brothers, but he also, all his friend groups were all his brothers, and they all call my mom sis. And I wondered that, but I just understood the dichotomy of it because it was just basically understanding where the real shit started and the fake shit ended is when you have those when you build in those cultures and you build in those that culture responsibility by having that and that is principles, morals, and that's projected, and that's belief structure. Now to go back to my original point as far as just being a projectionist, um we see people and we assume that they should act and would act accordingly in our situations, and that's based upon who you surround yourself with and how you approach things. You may see somebody in day-to-day walks of life. You may work with somebody or work with people that you think should act a certain way, in a certain accord, and they don't, and you're disappointed. A lot of disagreements and communication breakdowns and disappointments are rooted in how we view others' approaches to situations. In other words, we're judgmental. We expect people to act in manners that we should. We don't respect the fact that people are mystery boxes because we do. Why would you do that? We say, why would you do that? Instead of saying, I would have never done that. It's really what you're saying is, I would have never done that. Why would you do that is really saying, I would have never done that. Very important to be able to classify the two of those. We have judgment and biases that will never leave us, and it's rooted in us all. It is. Whatever you grew up to believe in and what it is, and just as I was telling you, the structure of the way that my parents built their friend groups is the way I built my friend groups. So I believe that. That's my belief structure. That's what I grew up on. And I feel that everybody should operate on the same code. Not everybody does. People out walking around and doing stuff and popping at other people's wives and just going about themselves and doing dirty business and stealing and all that type of stuff from people that they consider their family and friends. Because they're mystery boxes and you can't expect that. And then you get your feelings hurt because people act that way and you be like, they shouldn't act that way. But they do, because we don't expect that. Why do we not expect that? Because we say that we operate on this code, they should operate on our code. And that's one of them reasons why social media is so trash, man. We all had an opportunity to judge, jury, and executioner our way to any type of, belief. We all do it. We stand in the pulpit, waving our finger at folks, eager to get our shit off. That fighter in the Olympics was the perfect example of that. She came out and that young lady quit in that match. Immediately, people jumped out there. She's this, she's that, she's this label, she's that label. She should have never been there. And how many celebrities jumped out the window on that? Because they wanted to be the first to feel like they were fighting for the little guy, which they weren't. It was very self-serving. They wanted to be out here and be the first one with an opinion. And then when that opinion was wrong, then you just showed your ass, because everybody sees you for what you really are in those situations. And that's not good. That's not good for your brand. That's not good for people, for the way people view you. And that's kind of that's the give and take of social media. You can go viral and be a social media darling, but you can go viral by being a complete ass. Those things happen. You're wrong. And I think we've all done it. The internet is the coolest place in the world where you can build lies and they can be accepted as truth, and people can say anything, put music behind it, and sell it as fact. So easy to do. So easy a caveman can do it. We all come with these preconceived notions, judgment, and projecting. It's just the American way. This is what we do, especially now. we stand in situations where we think that people should think like us. There's no avenue for interpretation, for seeing your point of view. It's mine's should be yours. And if yours is not mine's, then you're wrong. I believe what I believe. And if you believe what you believe, and that counteracts for what I am, then we can't get along. And it's sad, but that's what we do. But the allowances that we need to make for ourselves is taking a moment to just kind of sit in the reaction and research the situation, and that will help with understanding, and then we'll go a long way. Look at those situations, and if you think they're appalling, then do the research on why they're so appalling and why they happen, especially in clip culture. The software is so great where they can stitch these things together in interviews and make it look like somebody said this and they believe that when it's totally out of context. Watch the whole interview to get the context. Do your research to get the context. AI is masterful now. They can make it seem like that somebody is saying something and it's getting so good now you almost believe it. Do your research. Where did that clip originate from that I see where he said this or she said that? And go do your own research. Figure it out. The best thing that you can do, because it will just save you just so much heartache in the end for you standing on a soapbox on some sand and getting that shit kicked out from underneath you and then you falling in your face. It's so much easier to just do the research. Um, and just to kind of pivot off of that, we generate fake conflict with people in our heads so much that we practice how the argument's going to play out and answer as the other person, whether that be in our heads or out loud. You talking to the king. I'm the king. In my car, driving, I am undefeated in arguments with my wife when I'm by myself. Undefeated. Because I am, in theory, practicing for the moment, right? I'm in my head. I'm mad at this. And I don't understand. And I think she's going to react this way. Well, when she reacts this way, then I'm going to react this way. And it's going to be, and I'm going to get my point across. Nah, never happens. Success rate is slim to none when it comes to that. It never happens the way that it should happen. So then when I get in the actual, after I have my argument preseason and I decide I want to play regular season ball and I go out here and I get into the debate or argument and I'm just out there twisting because none of this is going the way that I built it in my head. Then I just got to go ahead and roll a grenade out there and blow it up because I'm mad because it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. So I'm going to say something stupid to be able to maybe hurt her feelings, maybe distract, maybe whatever, to be able to get out of there and walk away feeling like I won something. And that's dangerous. The mind is a terrible thing. You have idle time and you're upset and hurt. You build up imaginary cases on the people you love. Women's intuition is loosely inaccurate sometimes. Man's intuition is completely unreliable and a crapshoot because we engineer it. People may not agree on that. I get it. That's just an opinion from an old person sitting talking on a podcast. We are literally Martin Scorsese at directing and building narratives in our head about things. We make movies. We make trilogies in our heads when it comes to these situations. Doing masterful jobs building on nothing of the sort. You have to be very careful with that because you can often put yourself in situations where you're saying things that you don't really want to say, but you feel like you're getting things off your chest, but you're saying things that are completely out of order and damaging because you're trying to force the narrative that you created. You can't. You'll never win with that shit. We see it across the aisle every day on TV. You're this, you're that. You believe in this, and you, since you're this, then you believe in this, and that's all that's ever gonna come of you. And you'll never see my point of view because you're too busy seeing your own point of view, and you're wrong and I'm right. We have to be careful. Seek counsel. If you feel like it's going to go there, seek counsel. That means find a friend, brother, family member, whatever, that you can talk to that can really be able to assess the situation and help you navigate through that. Because right now you are completely devoid of all understanding and reasoning at that point. You need somebody else to give you another point of view. You need another camera lens coming from another direction to be able to show you that, hey, you a little foul too in this situation. And if you can do that, then it will help to stop some of the madness before you even get there. And if it's real bad, then you can always go lay on a couch and talk to one of these professionals that got some letters behind their name. Go talk to them. It's okay to seek help in those situations. But you need to be able to not necessarily have people in your business and bring other people in your relationship, that or bring other people in your trials and tribulations. If you have private things that you need to be able to address and you have struggles, I understand that. But for you as the person that is going through this mentally at that particular time, you need to seek counsel and talk to somebody to be able to level you out a little bit, because you're just going to go into the situation if you are headstrong and you're already building that narrative and you're already careening towards that so fast that you're just gonna blow the whole space up. It's like gonna be like a suicide bomber. You're gonna go in and you're gonna say some shit that you're gonna regret, and you're gonna completely blow the whole situation up and blow yourself up at the same time. It takes it takes courage to say, well, I don't know everything that I should know. When you're in situations where you think you know everything and you think you've experienced so much that there's nothing you haven't seen, there's always something that you haven't seen. And you got to have those allowances. And it's not all the wisdom, and it's not all the wisdom of somebody being older than you to be able to show you the way, cuz there's younger people that go through a lot of shit that I've never been through. And you can talk to them and they can put you up. My kids put me up on stuff all the time. And that helps. It's just you having an open mind to be able to go, yeah, I feel it. Find who your outlets are, find who the people that you can lean on and be crutches in those situations. Seek the counsel that you need to seek before you go in and you go to battle. You may not even see this as battle anymore after that. It may just be a simple conversation. You misinterpreted something. It's okay. And God, it's okay to be wrong, man. You can be wrong. We can be wrong. The other person can be wrong. There has to be accountability. There has to be somebody going, you know what? Yeah, I was wilding. That was hella wrong. I should have never did that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's not winning or losing an argument. That's not saving face. That's basically saying, hey, I'm human. I felt this way. It was wrong of me to feel, it was wrong, for me to go about it. I don't know if it was necessarily wrong for me to feel that way, but it was wrong for me to go about it in the manner that I did. I'm sorry. Just to get understanding, to give another person that's on the other side of that's on the other side of you the context to know where your head was at when you were saying or doing or acting or believing or going through whatever it is you were going through. And that other person has to be open too. They have to put their guard down too, and they have to go, okay, well, I'm accountable for some of the things I did. I did some shit that was wrong too. Maybe that wasn't the best thing for me to do. I didn't realize that affecting you in that manner. Maybe I'll think about that next time, I come about it, then I'll approach it differently. But if you're continuously being in situations where you're looking at the other person as the other person being insane while you're sane, it's not going to work out. Take those moments of understanding and having the confidence to know, I know you. I love you. I respect you. I understand. We can talk about it. It's really, really just being human. Just being human is hard. Being a person now is hard. I think being a person and having understanding in simpler times, I think was a lot easier. But now it's so difficult because you have the ability to go, and if something is pissing you off, then you can go fire a tweet off. If something is pissing you off, you can go make an Instagram post about it. Something's pissing you off, you can make a Facebook post about it. Something's pissing you off, you can have a little commentary podcast on YouTube about it. There's so many avenues where you think that that's self-help. It's not. You're just perpetuating whatever it is going on anyway by just firing in that moment. That's why it's like the best posts are the ones that I never send. The best reactions that I have are the ones that I never speak on. I'm up for a good debate. I'm always up for a good debate. But to fight with to fight with people that I know that are going to say things that are going to be inflammatory and just going to piss me off, it's no point. And I'm not going to be inflammatory and be pissed off and say things that are going to be out of my character too. I ain't going to put myself in that position. But I'll engage in conversation if need be. And I'm always open to that. I'm open to a good debate conversation of somebody that doesn't believe the same things I believe, and I can state my points, they can state their points, counterpoints, whatever, and we can roll from there. Good at that. I'm good with that. But I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to allow the negativity to lead, to be the lead, or to be the root of whatever's going on. We're too smart. We experience too much. We go through too many things, and we know too many people to not put ourselves in these positions. It's just a matter of, are you going to make the choice to do that? Or are you just going to just put your head down and be a bull in the china shop and just run in and destroy everything? That's the easy thing to do, because that is the quickest way to relieve emotion, is to do that. But you can't. When we have issues of police violence in the community, there is a group of people that want to march out of protest for change, and there are people that want to run out here and tear up shit. Two groups. What's And in some aspects, both facilitate change, positively and negatively. But in order for us to be able to sit down and have the conversation, we can't destroy shit and then want to come to the table and talk about things. That's a lot harder conversation. And I don't know if that lever is the best example, but just one that I felt. We have to make sure that we are accountable in moments that we have to communicate. Because if we're not accountable in moments that we communicate, then there's no point in communicating. Why are we going to talk when we both have beliefs that we're not going to back off of? And no one's going to concede, or no one's going to, I hear you. There's no point. Leave it where it stands. Tip your cap. Go your separate ways. And you do you, I do me, whatever. But that's not. Sometimes, the juice ain't worth the squeeze when it comes to certain conflicts. You're just as easily a lot better being silent on some situations and not doing things than being out there and being forced to react. And I'm talking about when you as individuals are dealing with other individuals. It's hard. But I think we are all coded in a manner to have some type of sensibilities. And that comes with the people that you have around you, that comes with your experience, what life has brought you, how you ended up where you ended up in the first place, has a lot to dictate in regards to that. Type, breathe, read, delete. Go into disagreements with no preconceived notions. Understand where you stand at, and speak on the things that are issues for you, but have allowances to be able to hear what the other person is talking about, so you can take in what they talk about, so that you can find possible resolution. All right. So that is the end of this pod. Number 61, Projectionist. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure that you support the pod. You can donate, Cash App, Nytelife 3200 in the little box right below me. Also, I will go ahead and share this. you can buy some merch. You saw me on the last couple of pods. I was rocking the Plain Black Rapper podcast t-shirt. You can get that at mitchellmediareview.creator-spring.com. And a you can purchase a trucker hat with the not Mitchell Media Review, but with the Plain Black Rapper podcast logo on it, t-shirt with the logo on it. I got some Nytelife gear up there. There's the Gauntlet B Battle gear that's up there. There's all kinds of stuff for you to be, show your support. So please support what it is. If you love me, support what I do by contributing so that way I can continue to do this. Because as I say, this shit does not run on heart, sunshine, and puppies. It runs on money. So contribute if you can, and subscribe and share and comment. Do all that stuff. I know I'm giving you a lot of stuff to do, but please do some of those things, and that will be extremely helpful to me. All right. So I believe it is time to get out of here. So thank y'all for joining me. We'll have some more pods coming down the line real soon. Difficult roads often lead to most beautiful destinations. Shoot your shot. Go for the win. You might make it. Peace.